Hello dear students, it's time for English class and we are doing unit 1 of second semester, many kinds of art. We have already completed 2 videos and this is the last video for explanation. So before starting the current video, let's do a revision of what we studied in the previous videos. First we did the fun activity about the print art by Courier and Ives, The Puzzled Fox. And then we studied about Vincent van Gogh and his techniques, that how a painter paints and how they each have their own style. After that, we studied about the third art form of Rangoli. And we also had an activity about where you had to describe from the pictures that which are the things used, what colors are used, and what did you like in that Rangoli. Here you all have to give your own personal description, like what you felt was good. Then in the previous video, we studied about certain quotes about colors and then their meanings. And after that, we studied the fun poem, The Crayon Box That Talked. It was very easy to understand and quite imaginative. So now, and the last one was the play about the crayon box that kept talking. So now we will be starting activity 9. We have read about painting, poetry, and plays. Music is also art. Let's read some idioms about music. Idioms are groups of words that have special meaning that is different from the ordinary meaning of each separate word. The best way to understand idioms is to listen and observe how they are used in different ways. Now, students, we are studying about many kinds of art. Like first was print, then painting, then poetry, then play. Now it's time for music. We know there are still various kinds, like there is filmmaking, or there's dancing, there's singing. Everything is a part of art. So now here we won't be listening to songs, everything, but we'll be using idioms about music. Now you all know what are idioms. They are that phrase which has a different meaning than the actual meaning of those words. So let's observe these idioms and understand what they mean. Think about these sentences that use the idiom blow your own horn. We all know you are the best student in the class. There's no need to blow your own horn. Seema says she finds it difficult to blow her own horn because she is a very shy person. I don't want to sit near Rahul at the party. He's always blowing his own horn. So, what do you think blow your own horn means? From this, you can get some idea that it means speaking something about themselves and not just anything. Praising themselves, like you are just sharing your achievements or sharing how good you have done something or how you are good at something. It means that blowing your own horn. To blow your own horn means to boast or brag about your achievements or talents. Now, boast and brag are some new words for you, but it means like badai marna, dinge hakna. In Gujarati, as we say, like potani moti moti karya kare. It means like that. Not to blow my, and we have a sentence which is not to blow my own horn, but my risotto is as good as anything you will get in a restaurant. Think about these sentences that use the idiom music to your ears. I'm so happy to hear that you are all so well. It's music to my ears. Oh Sunita, you're so sweet. I must admit that your words are music to my ears. The accused man said it was music to his ears when the judge said not guilty. What do you think music to your ears means? Now, if you have observed, all these sentences have a happy feeling or some good things are shared. So when we say music to your ears, It means something pleasing to hear, something that makes you feel good. As you like to listen music, your ears won't be affected by music as they are affected by noise. So when something good is shared, it is music to your ears. So when we say music to your ears or music to my ears, it means very pleasing information. It's a good, excellent news, a good news, something that you like to hear. Think about these sentences that use the idiom for a song. He bought his house for a song 2 years ago. I thought I was getting the gems for a song, but I was actually paying too much. This is one of my favorite pieces of furniture, and I got it for a song in a trade fair. What do you think for a song means? Well, here, all these sentences have something like a trade is going on. Like, I bought this for a song. I think I was getting it for a song. I got it for a song in fair. So, it means that you get something for a song for in a very low price or in a price which is less than you could normally have paid. So, for a song means at a very cheap price. For little money, especially for less than something is worth. If you are getting a pen for 1 rupee when you know it costs 10 rupees, so we can say that I got this pen for a song. And here also the sentence is I can buy these dresses for a song in this shop. Here, make sure that there is a spelling mistake. I can buy, buy these dresses for a song in this shop. So that was all about the idioms regarding music. We'll study more, but that will be an exercise for you. Now let's start the last activity for this chapter, activity 10. Now what kind of art must be remaining? Like we studied so many of them. We studied about print press, we studied about painting, then rangoli, then poetry, then play, then music, and now it's about photography. It is a modern art. Photography is a skill, it's a talent which everyone does not have. Like we all have smartphones which have cameras, but still, all of us cannot take as good pictures as others or professional photographers are taking. Let's see about it. Photography is also a wonderful modern art. Using variety of cameras like digital, SLR and mobile cameras, photographers capture images and arrange exhibition, participate in photography competitions at national and international level, as well as upload them on the websites for various purposes. Out of many types of photography, one popular type is landscape photography. Here are some tips for landscape photography. Now you all have seen these kinds of cameras, and well, we are also studying like online education is going on. So you all have the smartphones which have that feature of camera. So that is your mobile camera, the SLR. The second picture is of SLR and the first one is a digital camera. Now all these cameras capture great photographs, and the photographers, they capture images and arrange exhibition. Exhibition, it's not just for art exhibition for or a sale kind of exhibition, but even photography exhibition photographs are exhibited. And there are also various national and international competitions regarding photography, like for a photograph with some subject or regarding some natural animals, or all those kinds of photographs are there. And one such type of photography is landscape photography. Landscape means the scenery or the land or the site, not specifically this land, but sometimes also the urban sites or that scene, that is landscape photography. Otherwise, we have the portrait photography where we are taking photo of a person, that is portrait photography. And there are also object photographers, but let's see some tips about landscape photography. Beautiful landscape photos are often defined by the quality of light they were taken in. Now, landscape photos, it's a natural scene is there, and the photo of that scene is taken by the quality of light. Light, we know that light from dawn to dusk, we have different phases of light. So, photographers tend to shoot early in the morning or during late afternoons when the sun is lower, less contrasty, and often displays a subtle color palette of moody hues. Now, you know that at the time of noon, during 12, so what happens that the sun is high up in the sky and it's bright, and even if you see like everything will be bright when you are taking pictures. You might have observed even for your own pictures, like if you are standing in front of the sun, you are like too bright and all, but if you are standing where you are getting the sun rays but not directly but slant are there, so that way such photographers try to shoot early in the morning or during late afternoons. Late afternoons means before the time of evening. So at that time the sun is lower. It's not high above, but it is lower and less contrasty. Contrast means the opposing is there. But let's see, when right now also when you take the look at the sun, our eyes capture much far better image than the cameras, but even cameras are able to capture big picture, great pictures. Right now also, if we see that during noon we cannot look at the sun directly, but when the sun is rising or when the sun is setting, the contrast is less, otherwise the sun is too bright to be captured. And at that time also there is a subtle color palette of moody hues. Now I think all these words are new for you, so let's study them one by one. Subtle means it's like indirect, or it is delicate. It's not like too bright, it's just a kind of refined or understated. Too much, it's not given there. Color palette means you may have seen that all the colors when they are arranged, like a few colors are there, so that color palette of moody hues. Hues means types or kinds or manners, different shades are there, that kind of tones are there during sunrise and sunset. For this reason, the hours after dawn and before dusk are known as the magic hours. Hours after dawn, when the sun has risen, or after that when you see the sky is like it has some different kind of shade, and before dusk, when before the sun sets, the shade before dusk, and these are known as magic hours because the sky is like magical. If rising at dawn doesn't sit well with your idea of relaxing weekend, don't panic. There are plenty of great landscape opportunities throughout the day. Now, landscape opportunities. If you want to take a good landscape photograph, it's not necessary that you have to rise at dawn. Like we know, like most of us are lazy enough to wake up early for that. But even during the day, we get various opportunities to get a great landscape photograph. Here I have got two pictures for you, and from the pictures you can see what the first point was about. The first picture is of after the sun, like the sunrise or the dawn, if we say. The daybreak is about to happen. We can see how the sky is. During daytime, you can observe the sky. It's like too bright. But here, the tone of sky and the contrast, everything has been captured very beautifully. And the next picture is of dusk, when the sun is about to set. So here the point was about, like you can see that color palette or the different moods are there, and we can surely see when the sky is looking like this, we can see that these are the magical hours. Well, to be clear, let me tell you as well that the first picture is landscape photograph, but the second is for the sea. But still, the concept of photography needs to get cleared. Second point, any landscape photographer desires an image that appears sharp throughout the scene, so that elements of foreground interest, such as a rock in a lake, just look as sharp as the distant horizon. Now, well, even if in your camera, if you take a picture and you try to edit it, nowadays editing editors are also there. But if you want to capture a good picture, they desire that the image should have sharp and it should not be blurred, like all the edges. That clear picture, that sharpness should be maintained. Why? Because everything should look as clear, as sharp. Like, let's see the pictures here, for example. Let's see the first picture. It is of a lake where there are rocks, or we can say stone. Even in the water, you can see the shape of the stones can be seen clearly. So that sharpness is perfect in it. And the next picture is of a horizon. Like horizon, I hope you know that it means the uh, distance through which till which you can see, or that distant place. It does not necessarily mean the skyline, but the since you were a child, you may have given like horizon is where you can see the sky and the oceans, that line can be seen. That is horizon. But horizon does not necessarily mean regarding the sea. Even on the road, you can see horizon, like the limit till which you can see. So here that sharpness is talked about, like everything should look clear. Third point, one of the great problems for landscape photographers is the difference in brightness between the sky and the land. While the human eye is capable of perceiving detail across this tonal range, a digital sensor isn't capable of recording it. Here, in this landscape photographer, I have tried to show you the difference between uh, the brightness. Like here, let's say, here there is sky and the trees or the land is there. But to capture that brightness of the sky is tough for the photographers. Like human eye is capable of perceiving this detail. To perceive means to observe. So human eye can easily take in those details, but it's difficult to capture this in the digital sensor of the cameras. So that is a great task or a great problem for landscape photographers. And now the last part. Great landscape photography is not necessarily about hunting out the most picturesque scene in the most wonderful light and at the most perfect time of day. Indeed, there are many aspects of the world's landscape that are less glamorous, such as the effects of heavy farming, rapidly expanding suburbs, and sprawling industrial wastelands that can make a poignant subject for the concerned photographer. Take a look at the effects of man on the landscape near your home and use them as photographic subjects. Now, students, let's see, till now, what photographs that I showed you, they were like had the most beautiful scenery, or that perfect time of day was there, that perfect light was there. So sometimes, I mean, it is not necessary that the best or the great landscape photography should have all these things. Sometimes there are various other aspects, there are various other matters also which are less glamorous, beautiful, but still they have make great landscape photographs. These are based on subjects which show or have some meaning. They want to show you something, like the effects of heavy farming, lands, what happened to those lands due to heavy farming, or the rapidly expanding suburbs. Suburbs means like it's made of two words, suburbs. Urbs like from urban, the region the urban region outside the urban city, or the, like urban and rural. So suburbs are outside the urban region, so how they are expanding. And sprawling industrial wasteland. Sprawling also means which is just spreading. Industrial wasteland. And all these can also make important subjects for the concerned photographer. Those who want to show this can also take pictures, such pictures, and can make a good photograph. Next is an activity for you where you have to take a landscape photograph near your home and use that as a photographic subject. Now, make sure, like, you know this even without me telling, like, all the photographs, your camera can capture anything if you just press, but that's not a good photograph. All the photographs, whether it's a portrait or landscape or for object, all these things have a subject in it. So that's what makes a good photograph. Let's see, here is also a photograph captured by a great photographer, and you can see what he wants to show. Here, that subject, that important matter is the industrial wasteland, how it is polluting, how the resources are used, and what kind of effect it is having on the environment. Well, if you compare to the previous photographs, you can also see this. But even without comparing, you can understand like what is captured in this photograph. Given here are some landscapes. Compare the elements using the points given. Now, here we are given two landscapes and you have to compare. So let's see the first landscape, the first photograph. Observe and we'll compare. We'll note down these things later. Let's see what is there in this photograph, what kind of light is there. All such things are to be mentioned. Now let's see the second photograph. Here also you can see like the color of the sky, the color of the water. In fact, it's like the sky and water are together. It's too bright. So still, just look at the picture and try to get in all the details. Well, here we can see the elements are time, light, location, and depth of field. Well, these are used differently when we are using it for photographs. The time when it is captured. For landscape 1, we can say that it was captured during afternoon, like when the sun is already high up in the sky. How can we say that? Because the shadows are falling, the shadow of the trees are falling on the landscape. And the second picture is of morning, not of dawn or after dawn, but in the morning, because we can't see any shadow, but still the sky is clear. Next is light. Like about light, we can say like it can be a hard light where your reflections or your shadows appear. Soft light where there are blurry shadows, or we can say diffused light where the lights are just mixed, or the dispersed where everything is just brightened up. So here we can say the light is dispersed for the second landscape because everything is bright. And for the first one we can say that it is hard light. Everything is not shining, everything is not lighted up, but the source of light, the sunlight, is falling hard on the objects. Third is the location. That is very easy. Like for the first one, we can say that it is field, and the second is a seashore. And the depth of field. Well, in photography, depth of field means like what is the distance between your closest object and the farthest object which are in your focus. Like how much of your scene is in focus. Like in photography, certain objects will be in focus and the objects in the focus will look sharp, will have that proper sharpness, and others will get blurred. So how much of your scene is in focus? the depth of field for first landscape is shallow because we can see, like, we can just see the trees, the distant mountains, the clouds, they are not that clear. And for landscape 2, we can say the depth of field is deep. Deep means there are more items in focus. Here we can easily see the grass, the clouds, the water. They are far, but still we can see. So this was about some new words regarding photographs, and we understood some. So now let's just write. Well, reading all this, we won't be being good photographers, but we got the concept about what is a good photograph. So here you have to write what according to you is a good photograph. Well, here I just note the few things which I felt are important. You can add to it, but not reduce. So according to me, a good photographer has proper quality of light. Sharpness is maintained. You know that edges, that blurry picture shouldn't be there. It should have perfect amount of brightness. About light, when I say, it does not mean like, if you might have seen pictures of people, but the sun rays or the light is not falling on them, but they are behind them. So that light is there, but even from that image, you can make out who is the person standing. So that is light. And the third point is about brightness. It should not be dull, and the fourth point is subject. Well, that was the fourth point, but actually it has to be the first point, where you can see that subject, what you want to convey, not just about the landscape photograph or the portraits or any. Randomly, if you are taking pictures, that is not a good photograph. But a good photograph has a subject which the photographer wants to convey. So with this, the chapter ends. We studied so many things. Like, we know we can't be artists if we study about art, but at least we can understand art. So I hope you enjoyed this chapter as much as I did. And regarding photography, I must say that even I had to learn so many things. We know, we all have smartphones, so we all ask others to take pictures. Mostly we are taking portrait photography. But even in landscape photography, through that we learn many things. We all have people around us with whom we complain, I take good pictures of yours, but you are not taking good pictures of mine. So that should not happen with you guys. So when you grow, or even from right now, I was assuming, when you used to send your assignments or your tests by taking pictures, I was thinking, how can you guys take such bad pictures? Forget about your handwriting, but your pictures had to be clear. So with this, at least you can see, it should be sharp, that proper brightness should be there, and the subject, the main focus should be on your test paper. So that, here we are connecting it like that, but still, I hope you will be able to take good photographs after this. And there's nothing to be written by you right now. You can do this exercise in your textbook. Your lesson plan will be uploaded during the next class. Till then, you can enjoy your day. Bye.